Hello everybody, how you doing? This is part 3 of our 3-part series with Terry and Cindy Goss. Terry and Cindy have RV'd full-time for 5 years, and now Terry is the general manager of Victoria Palms Resort in South Texas, here in the Rio Grande Valley. And we met Terry. He reached out to us through, he's one of our subscribers for our YouTube channel, and he sent an email wanting to know if we wanted to get together a couple of months ago. And we did, and we've become pretty good friends with them. They spent a couple of hours sitting down and answering questions that you guys have submitted, and they were great questions, and I think there's a wealth of information here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you hadn't seen the first 2 parts, be sure and watch them. This one, and this video, just like the other 2, has got issues. We filmed it in the activity center at Victoria Palms, and so there's some background music, there's some footsteps walking around and echoes because it's a big room. So I apologize for all that, but I think the information is well worth overlooking the distractions of the background noise. And if that bothers you, then probably you might want to go ahead and skip to one of our other videos. But I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the end.
And Dave Edelman, he says, Bob, I would love to hear everyone's exit plan when they're done full-time. I think that should be asked of everyone. Who knows, you may help some of them think about it more seriously. Out of all the YouTube channels I have been watching for the last year or so, you caused me to think about an exit plan more than anyone.
I think we've kind of covered that though, with the park models and the
right, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
But again, I have to commend you for the thought process that you've exposed to your viewers. I've already told you that I love your financial analysis. It's concise and understandable. And your video about an exit strategy, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have not thought about that.
And Dave, and thanks for the question, Dave. I mean, he put his together. He said he hadn't thought about it much before, but now he's got it kind of figured out. So.
And Kathy Flynn asks, hey Bob, thanks for keeping up with the videos. Do you have to be a member of Encore at Victoria Palms?
No.
No? You don't have to be.
There's no membership here. We're under a parent company called Equity Lifestyle, and they own Encore Resorts and Thousand Trails Resorts. Thousand Trails is the membership, Encore is just destination resorts. So it's a little bit different. You do have to be a member to be in Thousand Trails, but you've talked about that. But Encore is wide open. There is some crossover. There's now the Trails Collection, and any Thousand Trails member also gets a discount at an Encore resort, but there is no Encore membership.
Okay. And how far in advance should a reservation be placed?
For here.
It depends on how particular you are about your site. So we're right now in what we call early bird, and that's where we give our best price of the year for next season. You have to make a minimum of 3-month reservation, but we guarantee there won't be any better rate. And we'll sell 75% of our sites, or rent them up for next year by middle of April. And so if you're looking for a specific type of site, or you have a need like, I want to be east facing, or something like that, earlier is almost always better.
And then how long can the reservation be for?
So in most of the parks in the Rio Grande Valley, there's a projection that says if you're here for 6 months or less, then you're a seasonal visitor. If you're here for 6 months or more, then you're an annual visitor, and you have to have screening. So you need like a credit check and a background check.
That's with the Encore, with your property here.
Yes.
And the purpose of that is safety, I guess, but it's yours.
Well, when you stay on a property like this, you know immediately that there's not a registered sex offender down the street. There's not a felon up the street. Everybody is background checked, and it's not you know, we're not micromanaging their history. We're just trying to make it safe for everybody.
Just for safety purposes.
Crime
makes
is like a
good
non-event.
sense.
Yes.
I guess, in other words, how long are you allowed to stay here?
So
Forever.
you can become a permanent resident here and go on an annual lease, and you could stay here indefinitely. The only issue around that, and I don't know where that actually came from, Canadians have a limit of how much time they can spend in the U.S.
And then they go on to ask, this is Kathy Flynn, will Terry Goss let you make a video for your followers showing Victoria Palms?
And y'all got a lot of videos already.
We do. Probably the best is at victoriapalms.com.
Excellent.
We have a video that has some aerials and things like that, but absolutely you could make a video if you wanted to do such.
I was looking at your stuff. You got a lot of good videos. So what would, you might say that again if they want to find it.
www.victoriapalms.com.
Excellent. Okay, Larry Kuhn, excuse me. I can't get over the feeling of doom and gloom once we start full timing of something breaking every other day. Not minor stuff like shades or awnings, but big stuff. So, has that been a concern?
You kind of addressed that with your extended warranties.
That's a good point.
And you know, if you're not mechanical, and I've always felt this way, that if you're not at least minorly mechanical, full-time RVing could be a challenge. It's not big things that happen, it's little things. And you know, the best description I ever heard was it's like taking your house through an earthquake as you drive down the road. You know, they're built pretty good. But there are going to be little things that happen. You know, screws come loose, and if you don't catch them, maybe something falls off. And,
If you're really concerned, I think that, and you're not mechanical,
Yes.
that extended warranty probably, but they're so expensive. It just doesn't seem like to me you get your bang for it. And they got so many exclusions, like, oh, we don't insure
So
that
you
on
need
Wednesdays.
to do your homework on them too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
sometimes they sound better than they really are.
But if you don't have any skills, you may want to at least look into that.
Yes.
but
Or marry somebody that's a good mechanic.
There you go. And have, like they have that nest egg too.
Yeah.
They're going to be unexpected expensive.
MasterCard is the best
And I
mechanic.
wouldn't let it, I wouldn't let it stop you from doing it. If there's a way that you can do it, it's worth every inconvenience.
The freedom, the relaxation, the joy of
Yes, the joy.
RVing, yeah.
Lifestyle.
That's absolutely true. And you know, I don't think it's I'm very mechanical, so I may be overstating this, but I don't think it's a deep requirement to be mechanical. You know, it's little things.
Claire, Texas.
So definitely you want to get a recommendation and certainly talk to people.
Have you heard of any people that's had, I mean, I guess people have complaints no matter what kind of doctor you go to. Do you hear very often people complaining that they didn't do a good job on their dental
I've not heard any
specific?
complaints.
No.
Not even
They
one.
want to get their dental work.
I'll give you an example, by the way, which will make you even feel bad about your cleaning.
Yeah.
We have some very close friends that Thursday he developed a tooth. And so he said, you know, this is bad, I need to run to Mexico. So they went to Mexico and they decided they were going to do a root canal. They brought in a specialist. This dentist has a specialist that comes in just to do root canals. And they started drilling into it, and he said by the time they got the bad out, there wasn't enough left. And so they were going to have to extract. Well, they extracted the tooth, and he had a partial because there was another tooth beside it that was already missing. And he said, you know, we could do an implant or we could do an extension on the partial. Long story short, in a day, how many hours? 8 hours? They did all of this, including extending his partial, and the total bill was $50.
No, really?
Yes. They did not
They
charge him
questioned it.
for the,
Our friend's question said, this can't be right. And then they said, yeah, this is all you are.
they didn't charge him for the attempted root canal because it didn't work. So,
We know of our dentist, and these other friends go to a different dentist, and so.
Is this Dr. Kane?
So,
No,
No.
this is a different.
This was a different dentist.
that's right.
But definitely, I would say, you know, get a recommendation, someone that
Exactly.
you know who's been to one of these dinners. I assume they're all okay, but I've never heard of a bad one. But we've never known anyone that went to one that
But
wasn't.
the real answer is get talk to somebody
Get a
that's been there.
recommendation.
That's
It's
good.
been there, done that. We
And certainly
really
don't go to
impressed
just-
with Dr. Dan.
Yes, we were
He
too.
was great.
And certainly don't go to just any town in Mexico. In our case, it's Progresso is the only place
Progresso.
that we would go, but we don't go to Reynosa or Matamoros or any of these other border towns you would not go to.
No. Okay, we've got Adrian Nurse. She says, what made you decide to full-time? And had you ever RV'd before?
Yes.
Yes, all of the above?
Well, and when Terry and I got together, our weekend excursions were almost always camping. We enjoyed camping. And we started with a tent, worked our way up to a pop-up and then a hard side. And
Back when the
eventually
kids
got
were
to-
only this high.
And so that's just.
That's
what
good
we've
camping there.
always wanted to do is camp. So that's just a natural progression. And my parents, full-time, when they retired.
Who had the idea first? Did one of y'all actually voice have you thought about going full time, or y'all just evolved and assumed you just might
Tell
do
the
it?
story about when we
when
met
we
the
were-
full-time work campers.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I think on that same trip, we were going for the weekend, and we were parked at a light, and there was a motorhome. We were pulling our little bumper pull, and there was a motorhome coming the other way, and this couple was sitting there, and she had her recliner and her feet up, and just bells went off. Like,
Nice
that's
cup of
what I
coffee.
want
Yeah.
to do. I wish that we were doing that. But then we got to our park. We parked next to another couple that was in that Class A, and we thought only rich people could afford Class A's, and now that we would never afford something like that. And I guess they're the ones that talked to us about work camping.
Yep.
And we had never heard of work camping before, and so that kind of opened.
Y'all
the
had
door.
never even thought about RVing, full time living, the lifestyle.
Not until we retired. We didn't talk about that early on when we first met, that that's something we wanted to do when we retired. But we'd never thought about doing it sooner until we heard about work camping and realized.
So what made you pick the style and brand of RVs that you bought?
A lot of research, a lot of digging. We really wanted to make sure we got what was right for us. So Terry's really good about going online and looking at reviews and reading everything.
Did you ever think about a fifth wheel or trailer, or was you always motorhome? I say.
We thought about
When we
it.
first went out, we thought about, because we had a truck at the time, we had a pickup truck. We thought, well, maybe we could find a fifth wheel that we could pull and live in. But we just decided that really we wanted that motorhome.
You know, and this is different for everybody, so I'm not condemning anybody's choice. Certainly, there's a lot more room in
They're
fifth wheel.
very homey.
You know, they're massive, but I watch people park, I watch people maneuver, and especially with a big fifth wheel, it can be difficult. And I never enjoyed towing. And so, you know, a fifth wheel is better than a bumper pull. You know, I've been blown off the road by so many trucks with a bumper pull, but the whole idea of a motor coach just seemed so nice. And then when we first moved into that, the quietness, you know, you can have your engine in the front or your engine in the back, and when it's in the back, you don't even know it's there.
Right.
And it's so quiet. You can talk at a normal level. Even with some of the other full-timers that we follow on YouTube, when they're up in the cab of their car or the Class C or whatever, and that motor's up front, you can certainly hear it. So that was part of it.
That's a big factor.
And the secondary part was just my aversion to towing. I just really didn't want to.
Okay, when you did pick out your RV, did you pick it out because of the style, the floor plan, the room, the accommodations, the kitchen? Was there anything really special that just said, this is it, I've got to have this floor plan?
Let me start this one.
Okay.
So I did the mechanics. You know, I was looking for quality, durability, and all of that, and that was what got us to the brand. Then it was hers from there on.
Okay.
I love the floor plan, and it's a very popular floor plan. Every make and RV manufacturer has got it, with the sectional in the front with the TV and the fireplace. I wanted the fireplace. and in the middle kitchen, and we'd have the bath and the half. Those were kind of our requirements.
And going down the road, you can get to the toilet, the
Yes.
refrigerator, to pretty
All
much
those
everything.
You just-
Critical.
Yes.
You know, probably the thing that we didn't mention is that should be a part of your decision making, is how you're going to use it. What type of travel are you going to do? Because there are differences.
Exactly. Another thing that she wanted to know is, what was the first, second, and third 30-day periods like when you first
I
started?
think she's asking, did you change your mind after you started, or were you happy after?
We never
2 or 3
looked back.
Oh,
Never looked
yeah, because she continued, after 6 months, are they still happy with the RV that they picked? Type of deal.
So happy that we started it.
But now I have to tell you a little story about that, and I hope I'm not dragging your bit. You can cut all this stuff,
Yeah.
it's not good. But so when we decided to do this, the deal was Cindy had to have a house.
Had to have a house?
Yep, she said, I might be able to do this for 6
Yes, lets me
months,
forget this.
but that's it. I just can't give everything up and go into an RV.
A house is in home base?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so we took off on the road, and it's 6 months. I asked her, I said, so how are you feeling about this, you know? She said, I really like it. Let's keep going. And I asked her several times the rest of that year, and at the end of the year, I asked her, and that's when she said, sell the stuff. I don't ever want to go home.
I always wanted a full time, so, but I thought that, you know, I'd never gone completely.
I don't know, Dan Sale asked, hi Bob, if you could confirm with others that full-time 30,000 to 45,000 gets them through a year.
What do you think?
Oh, yes. In fact, long before we discovered your videos on finances, as part of our planning, we put together a budget projection. And we felt like we could do it for about 45. But now that 45 had no provision for 1,000 trails, so we were putting $1,000 a month in for monthly stays. Yes. And so now we look at it and we think, wow, I can take that $1,000 a month back. I can have a slush fund of savings for emergencies. We can do some neat things when we
Ice cream.
Ice cream, lots of ice cream, lots of ice cream. I also like cheeseburgers and French fries. All three of them go together. It's you know, so we're feeling really good about it. And as we watched your financial analysis, we were able to hone ours in even a little bit better. And I think, you know, it's just incredible.
It seems like, I mean, for us, we, kind of like you, our budget was a little more than this 40. So we've got kind of some money sitting there. Well, there's no reason that $40,000 we can do almost exactly what we're wanting to.
Well, so one of the things that you brought out that I thought was not talked about very much. If you watch YouTubers who are full-timing, they seem to just go, 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 go. And our plan, we have a blog. There's nothing there. We just wanted to get the name, but it's called The Next 100 Miles. And our goal is to drive no more than 100 miles at a time, park, stay there for as long as it takes to fully learn the entire area, sightseeing, motorcycle riding, whatever we're going to do, and really get immersed in that area. And then when we're finally done, the next 100 miles, you know, we move. And so the reason that's so important, your most recent financials, because you're not driving, you're just going back and forth here, have dropped. And that's what we're looking at for our entire journey.
That makes good sense.
We have relatives who will probably see this, so I'm not picking on them, but they go like zigzagging across country because they're event driven. So they go to Tampa for the Tampa show, they go to Albuquerque for the Balloon Festival, and they go to, you know, and it's just back and forth. And 2 years they put 30,000 miles, I think, on their RV. But that's what they like.
Yeah, and that's the key. You want to do what?
But that's
Happiness.
it's really a factor in planning your budget, is to know how you want to travel.
Here's a question from Jean Decker. It says, it sounds like a great opportunity to get some wonderful insights. I would love to get comments from senior women traveling alone. What are some of the difficulties they've encountered, such as things that are the most challenging physically? Being a senior woman, she's concerned that there's too many things that she can no longer do, such as lifting and things that require more muscle than she no longer has. But I want to know if you've come across the senior women here in the resort that are doing things on their own. Have they talked to many people about difficulties that they've had or that they're having now?
So I have a resident here whose husband passed away over the summer. She had a fifth wheel here. They had left it here. She wasn't sure that she wanted to or could come down. At the 11th hour, she decided that she wanted to. So she came down, but she realized that it was in storage. She didn't know how to set it up or hook it up or any of that. And, you know, it was like there was a crowd that came together to help her do everything that she needed to do. One of the guys with the truck pulled it out of storage and got it set up. And people have just been doing everything they could for her. And I've not heard anybody complain or there.
But this is a pretty special community.
It is.
It really is.
And I don't know that they would, I think if most people saw a lady having those issues, they would probably jump on and help her where they could, but probably it works a little bit better here than it is if she's traveling spot to spot.
That would be a lot tougher. You know, that's where I think, and I'm trying to think like an old woman, so.
Good luck.
Well, I think there's a lot of forums online and a lot of clubs, organizations that a lot of single women, I think a lot of single women do RV.
Aren't there some, it seems like I haven't seen, aren't there some groups?
Yes.
Different sites and stuff where and they talk?
And they all meet up and have meetups, and there's some forum where you get online and find out if there's anybody you know that's around you. And I think, you know, networking is probably going to be very crucial if you're going to be a...
Do you drive your RV at all?
I have once.
She drove it all the way home from Medina. I made her take it all the way to the parking
more.
Oh, yeah?
No, I do, but I don't ride.
Can you think of anything when you're RVing that what she's asking is her physical strength? I can't really, I was thinking of like changing the flag or something like that, but like you said, you got AAA and those kind of things. You call and they'll come and...
But it would depend on the rig type. So I think if you had a small Class A or a Class B or a Class C, there'd be a lot less strenuous type activities that you would have to do. You know, hooking up a trailer and your bumper pull.
Well, you got electric jacks to raise it up and down. Or you see you have to crank it, but...
Yeah, I always had to crank it.
Huh?
I had to crank it.
I think it's very important for, you know, I'm my worst critic, I guess, but I think it's very important for women to play an active part. I've been trying to get Terry to show me how to hook
But there's
up
nothing
the-
you couldn't do, probably.
She's stronger than I am.
There's a lot of things I don't know how to do that I need to learn.
But because of your strength. I don't mean knowing,
Yeah.
you
I
would
don't-
have to learn. I think what she's asking, I'm getting older and I'm not as strong. Could I still do it by myself? And the strength-wise, I don't think there's too many things.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that too. Yeah. I think you could do it, just about anything you set your mind
So
to.
what was her
as far
name?
as-
Jean?
Jean.
Keep on, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Well, I think everybody will agree that was a pretty good video. It's kind of long, but a lot of information there. We are headed out here tomorrow, which is Saturday. We're going to head out for Del Rio, Texas, and then we're going on into Big Bend National Park. So we'll be out of connection for a week or two. There's no Verizon cell service or internet down there. It'll be pretty much boondocking. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks. I'll probably get this posted up in a couple of days. I'll probably have to drive out from the park and find some internet to upload it. But we'll get it out the middle of well, to you guys, we'll get it out today. But Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, as always, give us a thumbs up. It sure does help. We appreciate your comments, and subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. And if you need to order some more stuff, use our Amazon affiliate link. Several of you guys are using that, and the dollars are racking up. I think we're up to $10 in commissions already, so that's working out great. So appreciate everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road. Bye-bye.